United Way Emerald Coast podcast. I am here today with two fabulous ladies that I super admire and love, and we're going to talk a little bit about being grant-making organizations here in the Panhandle. So if you don't mind, Leslie and Karah, will you each kind of introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about how you landed at your current workplace?
Sure. You want me to go first? Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Karah Young. I'm the president of Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation. I'm actually born and raised here in Destin, Fort Walton area. So I've lived here my entire life, and it's just such a special opportunity to be able to give back to a community that raised me. But I want to thank you for this opportunity of talking today. So this is really fun.
Awesome. We're excited to have you.
Leslie Moland here. I am the Vice President of Development at White Wilson Medical Center, and I work with our nonprofit arm, the White Wilson Community Foundation. And I've been here about 10 years, and I landed here and I just sort of fell into this. So background in PR and communication, and an opportunity to really build our brand in the community and find unique ways to give back. So it's been a fun ride.
Awesome. Where did you come from?
Alabama, so not too far away.
Too far.
I'm sure listeners can hear that really quick, real quick here.
I'm originally from South Florida, so I always think finding other native Floridians are always special and fun. Like, I left the Everglades to come to the white sandy beaches. Never turned back.
That's a good move.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit, about the organizations that you represent and kind of that in a nutshell. What do you do? What's the purpose and mission of those organizations that you're representing?
So Destin Charity Wine Auction focuses on children's charities and initiatives within really Panama City to Pensacola reach. Several counties. We currently have 17 organizations that we support along the Emerald Coast, and those all range in different needs. So healthcare, mental health, education, abuse, homelessness, food insecurity. We're really focused on if there is an at-risk part of a child or something that could affect them, we want to be able to be providing that need. So.
Amazing. And how long has Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation been around?
So we are embarking on our 19th year, which is really incredible. And since our inception in 2005, we've been able to donate over $32 million to these organizations each year. And it's a really big impact. I mean, we're writing six-figure checks to these organizations every year. But the trend is that the need is there. Right. There is just so much need in our communities, which is hard to imagine sometimes, especially with the tourism that we have. Visitors don't always see the need, but we're a hospitality-driven community, and there's a lot of children that need our help, and we're happy to do that. The organizations that we support apply annually. So they're not guaranteed every single year. They submit an application, and then our board evaluates those applications and the projects that they're providing or they're asking for money for. They submit quarterly reports to us, so we're really tracking where the funds are going and being good stewards of the donors that entrusted their money to us.
Amazing. Yeah. That'd be so cool. I don't know if you could find out who some of those first children were. I'm thinking, 19 years of the organization now. Probably some of those first children are now adults. And I'm sure that you've made life-changing.
There are some really incredible stories, especially some of those children now work within that organization. I think of a young man from Habitat for Humanity in Walton County. We provided him and his family a home through our grants and the Habitat donors, but now he works at the Habitat Restore, and that's just really incredible story.
Very cool.
White Wilson Community Foundation, we serve 3 counties, so a little bit smaller footprint, but our mission is to impact community health and wellness, men, women, children, you name it, but really focused on bringing together nonprofits, filling those gaps in care. We are blessed here that we have such philanthropic activity, and people here are so generous, but how can we find ways to bring some new things to the area, or how can we partner 2 nonprofits together and serve a need, or how can we fund a service line? So we really focus on that in Walton, Okaloosa, and Santa Rosa counties. We've been around about 12 years, but have really grown from a small group with a small fundraiser, and continuing to expand that, and just trying to be really unique in what we can bring here, but focusing just on that 3-county area as tightly as we can. So anything that impacts health and wellness is something that we're taking a super close look at, and trying to find some creative solutions too.
I love that you mentioned the collaboration. I think that that's been something that we at United Way have really strived to focus on, and to show our nonprofits, getting people together in the same room to talk about, your needs and your resources and what are your skills. And instead of, if you're that children's advocacy center and you need food, you don't have to launch a pantry on your own, partner with this other person that has the expertise in that area, and be able to provide as much wraparound services or additional supports in the most efficient way possible. And I know you all do that as well, kind of value that collaboration piece too.
We do. We have 2 meetings a year where all of the executive directors of the nonprofits that we serve meet and share resources and needs. And it's really great to see that room kind of come together instead of, in a way, acting as competitors.
Right.
Because they oftentimes are seeing the same client. And if we can serve that client with just one touch point with all these resources, then we're just being that much more impactful.
Right. And reducing the barriers, right?
Yes.
That family that might otherwise have to go to 3 or 4 different places, the time, the gas, the wear and tear on a vehicle that maybe is already struggling, the childcare, getting time off of work, all those other things that play into that. I think anytime we can work together is a win in our playbook. And I'm so glad that your organizations also see the value in that. Cool. So, Karah, I, of course, watch everything that both of you ladies are doing on social media. And I saw your Galentine's event. So as a lady that loves pink and all the sparkles, I've been super jealous of that event and seeing it. I think this is the 3rd year.
Yes, it was our 3rd Galentine's event. We also love it.
Yeah.
We're an all-female team at Destin Charity Wine Auction, and a couple female board members approached us about wanting to host this event. And it has just been really successful. It is a good way for anyone that hasn't been a part of Destin Charity Wine Auction to kind of dip their toes into what we're about and giving. But what's really fun is that we allow each of our organizations to apply for a special grant. So this isn't their annual gift. This is over and above that, and a special request for projects for young girls within their organization. We've funded field trips. We have funded a prom. This year the projects are just varying, but so wonderful. And some of them are really, really touching and honestly traumatic, but needed. And this year we raised over $100,000, and we're just so excited to be able to give and fund those projects for the young women in this community.
That's awesome. $100,000 is pretty incredible. Not a bad day.
No, great little lunchtime fundraiser.
I'm so jealous because United Way hasn't typically been in the event fundraising space. We have events, but they're usually more for awareness or recognition purposes. And so when I see your organizations and others that host these amazing things, I'm just mind blown. I can't even understand. And it's a piece of it. It doesn't even compare to what happens under the tent, right?
We're so grateful for our sponsors. They really carry that event, but it also goes to show that no small dollar is not worth it. It is totally worth it. Every dollar adds up, and it's so evident with a fundraiser like that.
Absolutely. And so speaking of fundraisers, I got to go to the Little Black Dress Party for the first time. I guess that was this past fall, right?
It was in
Like,
September.
No concept of time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I can't believe that was your first one. But
I know.
It is.
Well, it came here 4 years ago. So, right during COVID.
That's true. That's true. That was our first one back in several years. So we were excited to come back. It was our record year. It was our 11th Little Black Dress Party, but after a couple years off, it was fun to bring people back together. And our event really is an event that brings the healthcare community together. It's a little bit of a different crowd, right? So brings together a lot of our physicians, our health organizations, and we're blessed to have their support with that. And so, as you can imagine, the healthcare community was really excited to be able to gather again.
Let loose, right?
We've all been a little bit busy, and so it was great to bring those people together, and with that specific focus on how can we bring health services to the counties where we are. So yeah, we were so excited to be back and to see all of those faces together in the same room and to feel like we were able to really focus on fundraising and going back to bringing some services here.
That was a good one, like seeing people on the stilts and like you look everywhere, and I have ADHD, so I'm like everywhere I turn there's something new to look at, which is just exciting that you thought of really filling literally every corner of the room with something cool, a different experience, and I thought that was amazing. So very, very well done for you and your team.
Thank you.
It's a committee.
After 11 years, coming up with themes gets a little bit more challenging.
So how you spoke, Karah, a little bit about the organizations, but would love to know, like maybe there's a nonprofit listening to this right now in our community and they think they have a really great program. Are you looking for new partners, or what does that process look like for either of you? And then if somebody is selected as a partner, what are kind of those typical expectations, or what does a partnership look like for your organizations?
Sure, I'll go first. We are always interested in new organizations, so we totally encourage you to apply. We have a link on our website for charities that are interested, but the application process really opens up in May, and then if you're selected to be one of the charities that we support, we really need the volunteers. So that's a huge part of the partnership. But asking for collaboration, like we touched on with the other organizations that we support, we love to see them working together and just being more impactful. We also love to have auction lots. So there is a small fee with helping us procure auction lots for our annual auction, which is at the end of April.
Right, coming right up.
Yes.
For us, I think we love having people come to us with ideas, solutions. We've partnered with nonprofits locally and then out of the area as well. One great opportunity we've had brings a nonprofit from Alabama here because they identified a need for kids in this area. So always looking for creative ideas like that bring something that's really going to enrich lives in the communities that we serve. But yeah, our grant applications are a big one. Encourage anybody to apply, big or small. Sometimes those small grants are just as impactful as the big dollar ones. Maybe we can't fund a building or a big program, but that was one of the things that we saw in COVID is sometimes those $1,000 grants are just as impactful when someone finds themselves in a bind. So looking for people to come to us with those types of opportunities and looking for things that we can partner on as well. So not just a grant opportunity, but maybe there's an opportunity that we can create something maybe that's co-branded. So as creative as people want to be, we want to hear about it. I think there's always a new opportunity to go at it from a different angle. And if we work together on that, then sometimes we can find some things that are unique and maybe that we're not seeing here. So bring it on. We love having those conversations as well.
Special. That's
Amazing.
great.
Yeah, we're running into our grant season too, so inviting our nonprofit partners to submit grant applications if they have, cool programs or just need to sustain, programs. We strive to be kind of flexible in some of those areas that they can fund, which I think is a change, that there was this, here locally, several years ago, we didn't want to fund salaries, and now I'm like, no, you need that person who's gonna teach the child to read. It's not, the book can't do that by themselves. You need to have that educated, individual who's qualified and trained and knowledgeable to be able to do that. So I think trying to grant them the flexibility to determine where's that money going to do the greatest good within your organization can be really powerful.
I agree. It doesn't have to be a special project or a new initiative. especially with Destin Charity Wine Auction, we want you to be the most successful organization and most impactful you can be. And if, it's 3 more employees, we completely understand that. So that's great.
What's on your radars for 2024? I just was like, was that the right year? I had to take a moment. Woo.
We have our annual auction, which I mentioned it's our biggest fundraiser of the year, and that is at the end of April, and that is held within Grand Boulevard. It is a whole weekend of events and wine and food and fundraising. Right. Last year, we were fortunate enough to raise $3.4 million. So no pressure, but we're hoping to beat that number. And then we have other fundraisers throughout the year and volunteer opportunities for anyone listening. If you want to get involved, attend one of our events or volunteer. We love our volunteers and we need lots of them.
Right.
So.
Always more.
That's 2024. We're hoping to break records, raise more money for kids.
Amazing.
I think for me, once I get past attending the wine auction in April, which is definitely on our calendars, is really looking at things that we can bring to the community ourselves. So one thing we're working on now is training some staff on being certified to inspect car seats. That's something there's not a lot of resources here for. And, kind of those smaller things, but can have a big impact and things that we can partner with our nonprofit partners on and add value to the things that they're doing, add an additional health benefit. So looking at those types of things that are maybe not the biggest splash, but are certainly going to fill a need and bring something that maybe we don't even realize is a little gap in our community.
I love that.
What's on the horizon for you?
Well, I was going to spoil a surprise, which I'm not authorized to do, but I am terrible at keeping secrets. And I'm like, it's so perfect for me to announce this and to tell you about it first. This October, tentatively, we are going to host our region's first nonprofit summit. Ooh, yes, right. Wonderful. So we typically, the last couple of years, have hosted like smaller quarterly nonprofit trainings, just bringing in some incredible community leaders to talk about like leveraging social media to tell your story, how to measure your outcomes, just your financials, a variety of things. And we trying to be thoughtful of everybody's time and energy. We're like, instead of having these quarterly throughout the year, what if we just try to bring everybody together one full day? So we are in the early planning stages of that. We have an incredible keynote that we are hoping will be able to come. So cross your fingers for us. And I'm certain that there will be ways that we want to plug you and your organizations into that. And of course, making sure that you share it with those nonprofits also that you're supporting. Because sometimes there's overlap between the organizations that we're supporting, but definitely they're not all the same. No. So getting more people there would be super fantastic. And if there are certain topics that you love and want to speak about, let us know, or any areas that you think would really benefit our nonprofits, share, and we will look for the speakers in those areas. But I think that's one of the things that we're excited about. Always something new, happening at United Way Emerald Coast. But that's probably the one that I'm most excited about right now in this moment, thinking about you ladies and the value that you bring and just how incredible it is when we get our nonprofits together, working collaboratively over that competition. So
perfect. Well, I'm excited about that. So we'll get that on our calendars. Count us in.
You got it. So last question, how can individuals or companies support your organizations? We've talked a little bit about volunteerism. Is there anything else that you would like to use this time to ask for?
We always love sponsors and attendees and volunteers, but I ask you to think about a charity that's near and dear to your heart. It doesn't have to be Destin Charity Wine Auction or United Way, but consider, time, talent, and treasure towards that organization. And it's so meaningful. It really is my job. It's just high purpose work. It feels really good.
Love it.
I think just get plugged in and look for those opportunities. We are trying to be a good conduit in the community and identify those needs. So follow us, see what we're doing online, and look for opportunities again to get plugged in and to see what is your passion. And we'd love to have you bring those solutions and those ideas to us and to work together to build something.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm super proud to work alongside you ladies and your organizations, just making this community a little bit stronger for some of those who really do need us most. And I'm in awe of what you're able to do and all that you accomplish, and really proud of the work. So thank you for carving out this time.
Of course, thank you,
Anything for you, Kelly.
You got it. And I'm sure I'll see you soon, and tune in to our next podcast coming soon. Thank you.